Hi, welcome to the coaching game. I am Laurie Lawson, and tonight I have one of my favorite people in the whole wide world on, Christine Rodek. Hey, Christine.
Hi, Lori. Right back at you.
Oh, good. And it won't be a cantankerous show. We're going to get along well. So that's a good thing. Christine, let me tell you a little bit about her because we only have 28 minutes. So I can't tell you everything she does. But she is a certified life coach. She's also an energy leadership index master practitioner, something like that. Is that right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. It's a long title, but it's impressive. And she works with, which I'm dying to hear about, the mind spirit body connection. I know she does a little yoga class. I think she's got some Reiki going on there. So we're going to ask her all about that. So Christine, I am thrilled to have you on this show finally.
My pleasure. It's always a great time to spend time with you, Lori.
Yes, yes, and if we can do it on air, why not? Hey, so, tell me a little bit because I know you've been kicking around the coaching world for a while. How did you get into coaching?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Isn't it? It's like, what are we all doing here? Hey,
What are we doing here in this space?
yeah.
Well, I mean, I started my journey in 2013. And really before that was drawn to curiosity. My entire life just was curious and wanted to continue to grow and learn more. The age old question, why am I here? Really started early, I think in my early 20s and kind of evolved
Mhm.
and led me down the path to find the coaching school I went through, IPEC, and really just continue to explore and expand from there.
Yeah, did you find the answer to why we're here? Could you share that? This will be a great television show.
Well, we only have 28 minutes,
That's true.
but
We'll get back to you on that one. Yeah. So were you did you really say, okay, I'm going to be curious and I'm going to go be a coach? Or I have a theory that coaching calls who it wants. So you're kind of walking around doing your own life and then suddenly it goes, hey, Christine, come on in. I got something for you here. Were you involved in other things before you got into coaching, or did you go straight off the bat? Are you that young?
well, yes, I am.
Oh, I thought so, yes.
Um, well, it's interesting, right? I love how you said coaching calls us.
Mhm.
Um, I was a director of a school, and I think it naturally people came to me, and I had that ear right for them to talk things through. I had that active listening going on, and I remember one day I was at a mind body spirit expo,
Oh,
and they had all these great vendors and psychics and different things. Like, it was just a fun day. And the person I was with pointed to a table that was set up and said, "That's what you want to do," or something like, "You'd be really great at that." And I was like, hmm, maybe. I don't know. And I took all the brochures and I started to learn a little bit about what coaching was. And part of me was, you kind of do this already. And part of me was, there's so much here for you to learn and grow. So that's what really, that path, I do believe I was led in that way. The universe kind of led me there. And then, the rest, as they say, is history for me.
it's so funny because I'm going to say, and this is no proof at all here, but I think 90% of the people who are coaches today started out thinking, you mean I can get paid for this? I've been doing this all my life, and there's a profession where I can actually get paid for this. And
Oh,
it's like, yeah, let's do some coaching. So I'm so glad you got into it because you epitomize what coaching is. Tell me a little bit about the mind body spirit connection. I
yeah.
know it's there, but what do you do with it?
Yeah, it's really fascinating, right? And that really fascinated me from early on in life too. I grew up as a gymnast and really into that space of the body and the mind connection there, but really didn't know what that meant
Mhm.
until later on. And I'm still learning and growing. I think we all are every day. But for me, how I view that is, um, it's not three separate things or three separate parts of ourself. They're all integrated and connected. So, in order for one to be healthy, sometimes people will focus just on the body, right? And exercising and working out and eating right. And that's all great stuff. But then in their mind, right, there might be thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I can't believe this happened to me, or whatever those things are. And what we sometimes don't realize is our body listens to what our mind says and reacts.
Mm.
So sometimes, right, what that can do is when there's that buildup of that energy, of that I want to say catabolic energy, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I do. And anyone who goes to IPEC knows what that
Yeah,
is.
in the energetic body is what we're thinking, what we're bringing about to ourselves. That manifests in the physical body, and that can certainly manifest in what we call dis-ease,
Mm,
hyphenated,
right.
which can certainly manifest in disease in the body. So in order to keep yourself healthy, there is those three components combined to really, really focus on.
Well, this is another question like, well, why are we here? But how are you defining spirit? Because I know that I think everybody has their own definition of that. How are you defining it, and how does that fit into the other two components?
Yeah. So that the great thing is we can all have our own definition of it, right? And it's right for us. So for me, the spirit is um connectedness, my connectedness with my source. And whatever you want to put that word on, it could be God, it could be the universe, right? It could be this rock over here, whatever you want it to be, knowing that there's something bigger than just me, right? Um, and really feeling that oneness, that connectedness with it. And being a yoga instructor, that really ties in to when we say at the end of a class, if you've ever taken a yoga class, you might hear the instructor say namaste, the light in me honors and bows to the light in you, because we are all connected. So it really is this connection, not just to ourselves and our own spirituality, whatever that looks like for you, but to every living being, every living thing on the planet, or maybe even the universe. So creating that collective energy, and sharing that collective energy as well.
Are you saying like oneness with humanity, or I can say anything I want, right? It's my
Yeah,
spirit.
yeah. It's this concept of there is no separateness.
Hmm.
Energy is just energy, and we're all part. I believe we're all part of that collective energy that we come from, and then we return to. And in the meantime, while we're here, we can tap into that.
So can people function without having those three connections solidly made?
Sure. I mean, there's people functioning, right?
Right.
All over the world. So it's how you define, functioning, really. But it is about, and it might be on different levels. So your spirituality, you define that on your own level as well. So it doesn't mean you have to meditate, right, and om all day long, but it could be having a connection to nature, or um or any space or anywhere, whether it's within yourself or somewhere, where you feel that oneness. We've all felt that at some time in our lives, certainly some more than others, but it's tapping into that space.
Wow. And getting those connections, what are what are the benefits of that? I mean, I would assume functioning, I keep coming back to that word, functioning at full capacity. But what are the benefits of being, and is it a permanent? Okay, stacking. Uh, what are the benefits of connecting all those three things? And then, well, go ahead, one. Do it again.
Okay.
That's going to stack again.
Okay, so really the benefits are um, you get to live your life full out.
Mm,
You get to live your life every day, like I choose to do with that with a heart wide open.
mhm.
You get to be at choice, and it's just tools, right? So um, we're being bombarded every day, every moment as humans, right, with reasons and opportunities to close ourselves back down. We came into the world open, right, as children, and then as things happen and as we're taught certain things, we start to close back down. So this gives you that opportunity to live authentically and fully, and to embrace every day as it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, without defining good, bad, and ugly there.
I love that, being giving opportunities every day to close down, and it's true. If you get, you can go down the rabbit hole. So that would lead me to, are the effects of the connectedness permanent, or is it like you said, you give people tools to be aware that, oh, I kind of slid on this one, and let me refasten that. Does that make any sense?
I think so. I'm going to answer it. And then
Oh, okay, good.
I mean, I think everything is cumulative.
Mm,
And with that being said, it is a daily practice, right? Because we are human, because we have these interactions and these experiences every day, it's something we have to build a muscle towards. And the stronger the muscle gets, the more we practice it, having that mind, body, spirit connection, the more it's easier to recover or to see when life throws something at you. But I think it's a practice for a lifetime.
I hope it's one of those where once you're aware, you can't really go back. It's like, oh, you can pretend that you're going to be totally aware. So you just keep getting stronger and stronger, like you said, the muscle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something about wide open, and I know you have this groovy tattoo that says heart wide open. What does that mean?
Yeah, I do. So um 5 years ago, actually this July, 5 years ago, this month, I had surgery to remove cancer from my body for the third time.
Oh,
And this was a pretty extensive surgery. I had a portion of my tongue removed and reconstructed. Um, and there was so much fear for me um, uh, prior to the surgery. And what I can say is I liken it to, and I don't know what happened in my brain, but it feels like, or it felt like somebody cut the neural pathways in my brain. They were severed. I was inside seeing what I was doing, being in that fear, but I couldn't control it. I couldn't get out of it. And so when I was on the operating table, I was on the operating table, I think for 7 hours. That's what I was told. I don't remember it.
good.
They thought, so something happened to my heart, and the doctors thought I had a heart attack.
Mm,
And I was in ICU for a couple days. And then when I finally came to a couple days later, they told me, and I was like, really? This too? I mean, this wasn't enough. And they did a test to see if I actually had a heart attack. They went in, looked at my arteries, and they said, they look great. They look fine.
mm.
So they said what it was then was something called, and I might pronounce this wrong, Takotsubu cardiomyopathy, which is a Japanese word for an octopus trap. Because what happens to the heart is it mimics what an octopus trap looks like. And it's also called broken heart syndrome. Some people
Yeah.
might know it by that term.
Oh.
It is reversible. So after a month of medication and watching, I was as good as gold again. But when that happened, when they said broken heart syndrome in the hospital, I was still in the fear, but my first thought was, this is going to make a great blog post. I knew something was there for me. And what happened, what evolved after my recovery was this. I was left with, it was tattooed right on my soul, and then later on my wrist. It was tattooed on my soul that so important to live with a heart wide open every day, to be authentic and real, to find my voice, to live in the values that are dear to me, to share with others what's important for me to share, and to always always keep my heart open, even though every day there will be reasons to start to close back up again, to start to protect. So that's where that evolved from. And 5 years later, it's still an everyday practice to keep my heart open.
Wow, now that's a story. I had no idea. I just said, "Oh, she's got that tattoo. I like it."
Oh, oh, well, now you know.
I wonder what that means. So what do you tell your clients? I mean, what kind of clients come to you? Are they aware that they are disconnected or could be better connected? Or is it just someone, or is it just your basic client who goes, something's not right. I'm not sure what it is. Help me, Christine. Well, who are your ideal clients?
Yeah, I typically work with women who are ready, finally ready, right? That's the key.
Yeah.
They're finally ready to find their authentic voice, to live in whatever you call your truth, right? To not be afraid, anymore, to show the world who you are, without fear of that judgment of people not liking you, and really just lead that path to their heart wide open, to live that every day. So usually I do have a lot of yoga students that are clients, and they're ready in that mind, body, spirit connection typically. Sometimes though, I'll get clients who don't know. And that was me in my early 20s. Like, I knew, but I didn't know yet. So that could happen too.
I spent a lot of time climbing the corporate ladder, and I got to the top, and it was like the old Peggy Lee song. Is that all there is? It's like,
Yeah.
this isn't working. Yeah, but you
There
don't
is
know. But your body, your mind, whatever. Something tells you it's like, oh, something's not right. But thank God, I'm not sure when I was coming up there were coaches. If there were, I didn't know about them. But thank God there are coaches like you that again sort of help people sort that out. Do you do that on a one-to-one basis? Or do you do classes? Because you said you were a previous teacher, and then what you got going on? I know you have yoga classes.
Yeah. I definitely do one-on-one coaching. I've done several workshops in the past too. And one that I'm really quite fond of is I do a 3-part series on self-love. Because that is really where the work starts, is really about loving and accepting ourselves so that we can share. And that's what we're doing when we're living with a heart wide open. We're sharing ourselves and our love for ourselves, with everybody around us.
So what if you've had some experience? I've had some cancer experience also. What advice, and I know coaches aren't supposed to give advice, but what tips would you give to people going through that right now, or going through any kind of trauma? It's like heart wide open, cool. But what would you? Is there a daily practice, or what would you recommend? that people do to just get through those hard times?
That's a great question. And I would say for anybody going through an illness or anything in your day, I think a lot of times we as society, when we feel a feeling that doesn't feel good, we want to push it away.
Yes.
We want to get it out of here quickly. We want to distract ourselves with something that feels good.
Or take a drug, or
Yeah, eat
whatever,
ice
you can do.
cream, binge watch TV, whatever
Ice
that is.
cream, yeah, all that.
Yeah, that's all good stuff, right? But
Definitely.
what I do as my daily practice too is something I call welcoming. So whatever emotion shows up, however it feels, welcome it as if you're welcoming a young child who is tugging at your pant leg that needs attention.
Ah,
And it might not feel so good at first, but when you're able to sit with that emotion instead of shooing it away, you're able to easier transmute it into something different. But it needs that time, it needs that care to sit with it for a little bit.
wow, I love that metaphor. A young kid tugging on your hand. I need
They don't
attention.
go away. They might go away for like 5 minutes, right? But that fear, that child will come right back until you give it its proper
Yeah.
attention.
How about pandemic? It was like suddenly for those people who were used to distracting themselves, there weren't that many distractions. It was like, whoa, here I am with myself. What? How does this work? And did did you have clients? Because I noticed a change in my clients. It was like nobody really cared about losing weight anymore. It was like, what am I going to do with this? Those were getting, well, maybe they did care about company and things like that, but their needs changed. It was like, oh, this is a whole new way of living. How did you deal with that?
It was such a great opportunity.
Yes.
And I don't want to, um, I mean, there certainly was, for me at the beginning, a little bit of fear, right? What is this? What's happening, right? What do we need? What do I need to do to stay protected, right? All that stuff was new, and there was fear there for sure, which I welcomed. um, and I just sat with my clients, encouraging them also, right, to feel it, whatever was showing up for them. And there's so much freedom, that they got through that, that I got too through that, and being able just to, hey, there's nowhere for us to go right now but here, right
Ah,
here.
interesting. Yeah. It's funny because I found it in stages. The first month or so, it's like, okay, well, I can do things to get, I can't really distract myself, but this will be over soon. And then you start getting into it and say, oh, this isn't going to be over. And so maybe there's a little bit of disappointment, depression, or whatever. And then it's like, whoa, the opportunity. And now I'm finding myself reverse. I don't know about you. I'm finding myself as like, do I really have to go out? I mean, I'm used to being in now, and I really like, I've created the space I want. And so, yeah, have you found that also?
Yeah, finding the comfort, and everything you have is here. Right. So I think it helped a lot of people shift from that external, like, right, again, it comes back to self-love, right? We're always looking on the outside for things to fill us up. And this gave us an opportunity, if people chose, right, to do so, um, to find with everything here. So yeah, I'm very happy and content within four walls here for sure.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised that I am. It's like, oh no, I'm in New York City, I'm Times Square, I'm
Yes,
New York
you
City,
are.
I gotta see a play, I gotta. It's like, no, I really don't have to. There are other things I can do, and yeah, it was and still is a great opportunity. Which speaking of, it's like, okay, so the people re-entering, um, would you give them the same advice? Welcome the feelings and heart wide open and all of that?
Yeah, this is it. This is the practice, at least for me. But I found so beneficial for my clients as well, is Just stay curious. Stay curious of why we're pushing emotions away. And I teach this in my yoga classes as well. I teach a style of yoga called yin yoga, which is about yin is about accepting everything as it is without having to change it. So welcoming the emotions. Um, and when we do that, when we're able just to stay curious of why this is showing up for us, we're able to expand our awareness of who we are, why we show up the way we show up. And then we can choose to stay, right? Or we can choose to change, which is the yang, right? The yin yang, the yang practice as well.
Oh, so wait, so yin is do it again. Yin do yin yang.
Okay.
Do that again.
So yang is about changing, right? It's about changing the world. It's about changing ourselves. And you know that yin yang, there's that balance there, right? So we're typically in yang, right? As we
Right.
go around our day, checking things off our list. But the yin part is about accepting all as is. So welcoming whatever's showing up. And how could you do that? How could you welcome that with full acceptance? Instead of being attached, right, to how I should be feeling, how this event should be happening, how can you just release? Not so easy, right? But how can you release and just accept everything as that is? Certainly with an illness or anything big, or practice with things small in your life to start to build that muscle too.
Ah, that's a good idea. So are the yin yang, is it contrasting, or can they be blended, or a little bit of this, a little bit of that? How do you work that out?
It's that balance. It's in traditional Chinese medicine, which yin is based off of, it's called the Tao. And it's about, and the Tao means coming back to center, coming back to the center. So if we're off balanced in our mind, body, spirit connection, right? There's too much yang, not enough yin, right? We might find those imbalances in our energetic body and our physical body, right? And likewise the other side. So it's, what is that balance for me? What are my boundaries? What do I need to set in place for myself to take care of whatever I define spirit means, how I take care of the thoughts and things running through my mind, and the body, my body as well.
Beautiful. Do you believe we're out of time? I cannot believe that.
No.
It's crazy. Tell people how they can find you, my dear.
They can go to my website. It's Christine Rodek, Rodek, coaching.com.
Okay. And I can only thank you so much. And I'd love to continue this conversation, and we probably will get that opportunity. But I thank you so much for being on the Coaching Game, Christine. It was great.
Always my pleasure to talk with you.
Namaste.
Oh, namaste.